Well, hi guys, welcome back. It is Friday. It's Friday. I'm off work today. So today, I work down here with the worms. So this bin here, I uncovered it and I've been letting it dry out for a few days because I want to sift this, get the adults out, put them on the breeding wall, and take the cocoons and set them up for hatching. The reason I'm doing this is because this is like full of castings and I could add more bedding to it, but I think it's just time to change it. So people reuse their bedding 2 or 3 times. All commercial worm farmers do that. It not only saves money, it still gives them a chance to finish, processing everything. It doesn't hurt them or anything. But sometimes I feel when it's time to change it, it's just time. So I fluffed it up real good. And it's still wet for my liking, but I want to get them out of here. There's cocoons here. See, look at that cocoon right there. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to feed everyone here. And I might separate some other adult worms from my giant grow out bins that I call them the overstock bins because they have worms in them. And I'll go over there and I'll show you one of them. For those of you that are new here and haven't seen this, I have more worm tubs here. What a surprise. So let me just show you. This one is tub number 4. As you can see, there are cocoons everywhere in this tub. So this tub, I just put the worms in here and I pull out the adults and I put them in the other room to continue breeding. And there's springtails in here, babies hatch in here. Sometimes I take the cocoons out and I put them to hatch over there, but I don't see the purpose sometimes. If they're in here and they're hatching in here and they're fine, then I just leave them in here and have them grow up in here. And then I'll also, if I have a lot of worms in here, I'll also take them and fatten them up and put them up for sale. So these are all red wigglers, Yersinia foetida. In these tubs, there's no other worm mixed in. And as you can see, they're doing fine. But this bedding is also getting to the point where I need to change it. Look at that yellow tail on that one. How cute. And there's a lot of springtails in here because of the moisture. So these worms, not only do I feed them chow, I also treat them to food scraps and, other things. Like here, there was like a sweet potato thing that I put in here. Oh, look, there's still remnants of it. Let's dig in here and see what's here. There we go. So I do, see, that's a label that the sweet potato had. I do give them food scraps. I just think it's cool to treat them to something else. Look, this was an avocado. So my tubs do. Now, not everyone does that. And, it's a preference thing. But I do it. Only because I have 6 of these. And if I put food scraps in tub number 1, let's say, and then I process number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, by the time I get to tub number 1 again, whatever food scrap I put in here is gone. So it's fine. It's like a rotation. And if I ever come in here and find food scraps, like look at that. Obviously I had put an avocado in here. And I smell oranges. I guess I put orange peels in here. Sometimes I don't remember. Look at the avocado. It's sprouting. How cool is that? It has cocoons in it. So you know what? I'm just going to leave it in there. Yeah, I did put oranges in here. Look, sun-kissed. So I'm just going to throw that back in there because they will eat it. And I smell citrus. I smell so good. But as you can see, there was an orange in here and my worms ate it. So my worms eat everything. They eat citrus, onions, garlic, things that people say are the forbidden foods. My worms eat it. But I will caution you. Do not take an entire bag of orange peels and put it in here, because you will cause a tremendous amount of acidity in here, which can kill the worms. And you don't want to do it. Like everything in worm farming or anything else you do, balance. There has to be balance. No excessiveness on any side, except how many worms you got. You know, I mean, I can't help that. We worm people, we just love having worms, and we can never have enough. Look at all the cocoons. Why are they laying the cocoons on this plastic is beyond me. What I think is they're laying it on the surface, and then, yeah, look. They're intertangling themselves in this paper. So since they like it like that, I'm just going to leave it. So that's what's going on in tub number 4. Then we got tub number 5. It's like basically the same thing. And these guys, they also have to come out. Look at the castings, and is unbelievable. And the bedding is just about gone in here. So it's time to harvest these guys. But first, I need to work on the little ones in there, because they're priority. They don't have as much space as these guys. So let's go. All right, so for demonstration purposes, I put it on here. This is a sifter, 1/4 inch, and it rolls. Sometimes I have this on a flat surface, but since I took the table out of here, this works fine. Plus it's at an angle, and it's really not bad. Everything is gonna fall here. So this is a 1/4 inch. The cocoons and little babies will fall through here with the castings, and the adult worms will stay up here. Now, once in a while, an adult worm does fall through. This is not 100% perfect. And when that happens, I just let him go. It's fine. He'll be okay down there. Let me just grab a handful here before I go get my tripod so I could just show you. I just take some, and I have to go like this kind of fast. Let me see. Let me put this up against something. All right. So you see, the bigger particles are left, the bigger worms are left, and down there, some smaller worms went through, and the castings with the bedding that just didn't get processed and cocoons all fall down there. Then I put that in a bin to grow out over there, and I label it cocoons. So look, it literally took me 5 minutes to do this. Now, I do use a sifter sometimes, but you know, sometimes I told you guys I just like to do it by hand. I like to feel them and just see what's going on in there. And sometimes they do get stuck, like here, see? So I just gently go like this, and I let them drop down. It doesn't hurt them. Just says, wee, you're gonna go down with your buddies down there. So this one's kind of big. I'll put him there, and he will too. So what do you think? So now this has a mountain of worms. It has bedding that hasn't been processed yet. So what I do now is, these are breeders. So I spread them out, and I take fresh bedding and I mix it in, and then I label them, and they come over here for 3 weeks. Then these cocoons, babies, you know, all the, I guess, kind of larger ones fell in there. That's okay. I label them, and they come over here, and I label them cocoons to hatch. And then the process just keeps going around and around. So I needed to do this one today because I told you that bedding was just, it wasn't to my liking. So I'm gonna get them ready. And then I'm gonna feed and water everybody else in here. And I'm gonna tend to the larger tubs. All right, so that's what we're doing today. So now the ones that I just did are here. I'm gonna switch that label out, and the adult breeders are here, but I'm gonna do another one and add more breeders to this, because I put a 1/4 pound in each of these breeder tubs, and just by eyeballing it, I can tell that I don't have a 1/4 pound in there. So I'm gonna go get more out of my overstock tubs that I showed you and add them in there. So this is how I get worms from my overstock. I take this and I push it aside, and I have a tub here that I've been using for them, and I just take some and I go like this. And then this tub, I will take it over there with me. So when I take worms out of this overstock tub like I'm doing now, and I'm taking bedding and everything, I will replace this with fresh bedding, because it'll give them a chance to just keep going. Look at this, another little avocado seed that I put in here. This is a little one. He's not sprouted yet, but I bet he will be. Let's just put him there with the other one. So I take a few scoops at a time because I don't want to like overwhelm myself. So then I go like this. I push it all to the side, right? Whatever I can. And then I just add more fresh bedding here. And the cycle goes like this. The cycle continues. I add fresh bedding here. And then when I'm going to take more worms, I take it from here. And the cycle just continues like that. Pretty neat, huh? So here we are with the sifter again. Now, I can do it through the sifter. But before I make any decisions like that, I touch it and see if it's even worth it. Because if it's too wet, it will clog it. So since this is wet, I think I'm just going to do the hand light method. So I push them all to one side, pile them up here, and then I just start taking from the top, and the worms will all dive down. Everyone dives down. All right. So as you can see, there are still worms at the top. So I'm going to give them a few minutes. I'm going to do something else, and then I'll give them a chance. Well, guys, I started taking worms and castings and cocoons and everything out of one of my tubs, and I realized with 6 of them, I have too many worms. So, dun, 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 I am putting some worms up for sale. So hopefully by the time you see this, I will have that up and going. I mean, I have to you know, upload this video and do a little editing here and there. Sometimes, guys, I don't edit anything. I just don't have time. Plus, you all know I'm not about perfection, so it is what it is. You see me how I am. I'm very giddy today. I don't know what it is. I think I woke up to snow. Anyway, these are the ones I'm going to put up for sale of these guys. And they're red wigglers, Acinia fetida, and there are no blues in here, no euros, no nothing. So it's just the good old reds. So they'll be on my website. If you have any questions, just ask me. Well, hey guys, I'm back. A shout out to Jennifer. I just got off the phone with her. She booked a calling thing with me on my website. If you want to talk to me about worms one-on-one, any advice, anything, you just go to my website and you can book it. And that's what she did, and we've been talking. So nice to talk to you, Jennifer. So I took a break to talk to Jennifer, and here I'm going to come back and just keep taking worms off the top. Obviously, they have dived down. So I talked to Jennifer a lot about worms and advice and stuff, but I also told her that I do a lot of other crafting that I would show maybe some of my crafting stuff. So probably in the next video or in the future, I'll show what other things I do, because I do a lot of things, guys. Worming is not my only thing. I just saw a cocoon. I wanted to show you. Here it is. Oh, look how cute. When they're yellow like this, they were just laid. When they start turning dark, that's when, you know, they're gonna hatch. So I'm starting to see worms. So I'm gonna do a little more, and then I'm gonna take a break and have lunch break. And go have lunch with Joe. and then I'll be back to continue this. This doesn't take long, especially since you can do this, and then when you see worms, you go do something else. It's like a great way to multitask. And then before you know it, you're going to be at the bottom. So I'll bring you all back when I'm at the bottom here so you can see. There's one. You can see the worms. Okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to show you something. Learning. We're learning. So I have too much wetness in this bin, and I want to show you pot worms, what they look like. They're little white worms that look like little strings. Let's see if I could zoom in. See that? Now, they're not bad to have in your worm bin. They're actually part of composting. Look, you can see them moving there. Let me see if I could zoom in a little more. See them there? Oh, that's a good video right there. See that one right there? Him. So they also come from overfeeding sometimes. So obviously in this bin, I gave him a banana, then I gave him chow. I gave him like too many things. And sorry, my hands are so shaky. And there's a pot worm. And they disappear when the bin dries out a little bit. And that little guy down there that you can see there, see him? That's a springtail. And he's also part of the composting world. But look at the pot worms. Interesting, right? These are pot worms in a worm bin. They come from overfeeding your worm bin. Look at them. They're kind of gross, but they're there. So I just thought you'd find that interesting. So what I do is when I see a lot of them like that, I just kind of go like this. It's weird. They look like little strings, little fibers. Look at them. And obviously the worm is there, and the worms are not bothered by them, so don't worry about that. But I take it and I just go like this. See the worms? And this bin it'll dry up a little bit and then they'll be gone. So a little learning curve for you. Little learning. Don't be afraid. It'll be okay. Don't worry. All right, guys. Well, guys, I'm back from lunch, break, post office, blah, blah, blah. So I uncovered these bins to let them air out a little because I have to harvest the adult worms. And over here, I'm just going to continue. I fed and watered everybody. And so everyone's all good. So here I'm just gonna keep taking from the top. You see, it's okay to leave them for a little while and go do something, do what you have to do, you know. It's all right. This is like the easy way to harvest something. Also, you don't have to, like that, I don't have to do anything else to it. Just cover it and label it, and it goes back on the shelf. So yeah, another thing that I've used to do this is the brush method. It's a really soft brush, and basically you just start at one end and just brush away the top. Every time I see a worm, I take it and put it in this corner. That way, eventually, a lot of them are going to end up over there. Sometimes I go like this. Sometimes I use the corner. Look at that little one right there. Look how little. Where is he? Sometimes they're so little I lose them. There he is. Oh, he's so cute. But he'll go over there in that corner. So you can use a brush if you don't feel like using your hands. You can also use gloves And I do sometimes, but I don't know. Today's the day I just want to touch them with my hands. I never know. All right, guys. I emptied out more of these, and I have them here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to keep taking from the top, putting cocoons and little babies in here, and setting them up on the wall. And then I'm just going to keep going. So, if you want pure red wigglers, I'm going to have them on my website. And yes, there will probably be only 100 worms at a time. And I do hand count them. I don't just pick a handful because I want to make sure if you buy 100, you get 100. Because that's the right thing to do. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And like and subscribe and check out my other channel. For those of you that have made it this far, thank you. I'm the Composting Worm Lady on the other channel. And I'll see you next time. Take care.